Let's go again into that original feeling in the heart. That underlies seeking love, longing for love. Which is universal. Everyone has it, just different people are in touch with that to different degrees. And some who have been very much hurt or living in emotional emptiness, blocked it, but it's still there, just blocked. While that feeling behind seeking love is universal, universal in the sense that all the living beings share it. There's also a lot of frustration connected to it for obvious reasons. Because love in our dimension is conditional. It is an exchange, an emotional exchange. And it's not easy, accessible, not easy to receive love. And you cannot entirely trust that you will receive love, because that energy of love can be easily taken away from you. Someone loves you and then they stop loving you. Only the energy of a mother is often regarded as unconditional love towards her child. But whether it is really unconditional, it depends how you see it. And for a mother, child is her extension, so she is very much identified with the child. Being so very much dependent on the need to experience love, we are almost begging for it. And there are many social strategies, politics, in social interactions to get it, to receive it, to be liked. To be taken care of. In fact, that etymology of the word love is the same as like, to be liked. So in that sense, love is often experienced as a more intense liking. But it goes deeper. Because on a deeper level, through love, we hope to as much as possible transcend separation, to experience emotional unity with others, and also through others, coming closer to oneself, feeling more unity with oneself. And because love is experienced in object-subject relationships, in duality, when the concept of self-love is used because many people are familiar with the idea of the psychological importance of loving oneself, even though no one is really sure what it means. So the thing is that we are relating to ourselves as well in a dual manner. As we relate to others, we are trying to relate to ourselves. Be compassionate towards ourselves, or to love ourselves. And it is purely psychological. We're trying to love ourselves psychologically. And it's very confusing because there are many psychological complications involved, such as we are not sure whether we deserve to love ourselves. Because love has to be deserved, has to be won over. One has to be worthy of love. Meaning one has to display certain qualities to be worthy of that love. If one does not manage to meet the ideal of how one should be in order to deserve love, then one cannot direct that positive emotion towards oneself. On the contrary, one is not liking oneself, one is judging oneself, criticizing oneself, and that is universal too. Everyone has it. So in trying to find that love within yourself, that objectivization of yourself, that psychological relating to yourself has to be transcended to come to a deeper experience of yourself. All of that is difficult for various reasons. Because people cannot experience themselves in a pure way. They are generally unconscious, they do not have pure subjectivity. And they are very much psychologically conditioned to experience reality through relating to things which are outside of oneself. Meaning the quality of your existence, how well you are, the level of well-being depends on the outcome of your relations. And what kind of a feedbacks you receive, what kind of a positive energy you receive back towards yourself from others. This is how people live, and that is the only way they live. They don't live in any other way. There's nothing else really. When the world is good to you, you are liked, appreciated, you get attention from others. More of a feeling of love from others, then you are content. If not, you are discontent. You feel lonely, sad, and eventually depressed. That's why when we are going into the heart in order to discover that love, you really need to see that it is not that simple for the reasons that I have stated, that it is something really big. And not because love is so difficult to discover or to recognize, but because you need to come to a very, very deep relationship with yourself. And that is the most difficult part. How do you actually experience yourself? In yourself, who you really are, independently from your relations with the world. Because as I said, people are the result of their relations. They don't have existence in themselves. So that is the context, because if you don't know the context, you are not aware of the context, you will simply not really know what it is that you are doing in your heart in order to discover that essence of love. Finding love in yourself is finding emotional independence. Not in the sense that you do not need anyone, but in the sense that you feel unconditional fulfillment in yourself. We could say that that original feeling behind seeking love is actually essence of love that is unconscious. And unconsciously is seeking itself. But first it is seeking itself outside. This is why when you feel that original feeling, try to first to feel it deeply, second try to be one with it, try to become it, making it conscious. Because you are seeking, or that essence is seeking love in all the wrong places, everywhere, but not in the heart. It is understandable initially because human beings are like children and they need to grow, they need to mature, and it takes lifetimes to mature in that sense. But there comes a time where you do need to mature. And you need to claim that love which you have been seeking since beginning of time. So feel that feeling behind seeking love, behind longing for love. And surrender to it. And as you surrender to it, the deep sensitivity, recognize that what you are feeling is love. You are feeling love. And that love is the nature of your heart, your emotional essence, and it is beyond self-love, because you are not experiencing it in the context of psychological relationship with yourself. Rather, you experience it as yourself. It has been there all along, and now you are just awakening to it, or remembering it. There is such a thing as deeper recognition of that love and deeper appreciation of that love, and surrender to it, which is like falling in love with that love. But it is not psychological. It is just that intelligence which entered, emanating intelligence, as a matter of fact, will enter that essence feeling in your heart, is awakening to it. So there's certain subtle movement in that intelligence that is growing into that feeling in your heart. That's why simply feeling your heart is not enough, or being in your heart is not enough, because it will not create that awakening. Awakening is a function of intelligence. With intelligence comes to understand deeper what it is experiencing. That's why we are guiding here your intelligence, so that it can understand and it can grow into the recognition of love. If you just sit in your heart, well, there's certain energy of love in the heart, but heart alone is not love. It's a certain environment in which, internal environment in which love is recognized. So if you just sit in your heart, waiting for love to reveal itself, it might just never happen. You need to recognize that love. You need to recognize the I am of love in your heart. Your heart is like a room inside the temple of your body. And as you enter inside of it, you need to recognize what is there in the middle, sitting on an altar. You need to recognize that I am, which lives inside that room of the heart. pure subjectivity can enter the heart, but that is not entirely enough, because that pure subjectivity, even though it embodies the heart, is still not the essence of love. It has to further awaken within that space to that essence, so that it can recognize its own divine core, its own divine flame.